What happens when police goes too far? We've seen shocking moments where the badge becomes a weapon and justice takes a back seat. From viral videos to real-life nightmares, these incidents spark outrage, fear, and a demand for change. Whether it's an innocent person being slammed to the ground or excessive force during an arrest, the line between law and abuse gets dangerously blurred. These aren't just isolated events, they reflect a broken system. If these stories hit hard and raise questions you can't ignore, stay locked in because we're diving deep into the raw, unfiltered reality of power gone wrong and the battle for accountability that we can't afford to lose. If you want more like this, hit subscribe so you never miss any update. Let's begin.
An Arkansas police officer has been fired after...
Our first clip captures a routine police patrol with a suspect in custody. What seemed like just another arrest quickly spiraled out of control when the criminal started attempting to free himself from the handcuffs. But then, out of nowhere, a police officer steps in and unleashes an intense assault, punching the suspect in the face, striking his body with brutal elbows and fists. The violent attack is shocking, especially as the suspect struggles to break free, helpless in the back of the patrol car. The aftermath is chilling. This officer would later face serious consequences, including being fired for his actions. The question remains, when does enforcing the law become crossing the line? Our next clip captures a disturbing scene during what should have been a routine arrest. A man stands calmly, seemingly ready for his interaction with the police. But things take a drastic turn when the officer, without provocation, strikes the man directly in the face. What follows is even more shocking. The officer, now in full control, forcefully throws the man to the ground. But it doesn't stop there. He applied relentless pressure on the man's neck to assert complete dominance. The man struggles, gasping for air, as his rights are completely disregarded in that moment of brutal aggression. To make matters worse, the officer still holds the man's handcuffs in his hand, a tool meant for control now being used as part of an act of sheer violence. The situation goes beyond an abuse of power. It's a violation of basic human dignity and trust. In this clip, a group of teenagers appears to be part of a protest, standing their ground in what should have been a peaceful demonstration. But the situation quickly turns violent when police officers arrive on the scene. Without warning, one officer takes aim and sprays pepper spray directly into the face of a random teenager, causing him to stumble. The chaos escalates further as the officer grabs the teen, slams him to the ground, and begins mercilessly punching him in the head. The violent blows cause blood to start pouring from the teen's head as he lies helpless, unable to defend himself. His cries are drowned out by the officer's actions, while the other teens look on in horror, recording the brutality unfolding before them. This isn't just an arrest, it's an assault in front of a group of witnesses, a reminder of how far some will go to silence dissent. The video ends, but the image of a teenager beaten by those sworn to protect him is hard to forget. An elderly protester approaches the police line. He isn't violent, he's simply trying to speak. But before he can even finish his words, one of the officers shoves him hard in the chest. The impact sends him flying backward, and he crashes to the ground with a sickening thud. The crowd gasps, but the officers, they just stand there looking down at him as blood begins to pool from his head. No one rushes to help, no one bends down. A man old enough to be their father or grandfather lies motionless on the pavement, bleeding, while the people meant to serve and protect just watch. This isn't just a push, it's a heartbreaking example of how force, when unchecked, can turn peaceful protest into a moment of violence and silence. His next clip takes place inside a court where things are supposed to be under control. A man stands calmly when an officer suddenly walks up to him, try to remove hairband from his head, but sudden he grabs his hair and violently slams him to the ground. But it doesn't stop there. The officer then twists the man's arm behind his back and holds it in a brutal lock way past the point of restraint and deep into sheer pain. The man screams, clearly in agony, as the officer keeps the pressure on. Eventually, the pain turns, physical blood starts to pour from the man's body. All of this happening right inside the police station, in a place that's supposed to represent order and safety. It's not just painful to watch, it's proof that sometimes the worst abuse happens behind closed doors. These aren't just isolated clips, they're real moments where power turned violent and justice was nowhere in sight. From peaceful protests to police stations, from city streets to the eyes of the world watching through a phone camera, these scenes expose a harsh reality, a reality where the protectors cross the line and people are left bleeding, broken, and silenced. Montage of key moments plays slow motion, emotional music. This isn't just about what happened, it's about what keeps happening. Until real change is made, we'll keep seeing these headlines, these videos, these victims. Because when those in power stop being held accountable, the system stops working for everyone. If these stories hit hard, don't stay silent. Like, subscribe and share to keep the conversation alive.